I'm standing in front of this dirty, dusty, godforsaken plot of land here where my new friend John often spent time camping when he became homeless. John, who thankfully now is no longer living on the streets and lives at home with his mom in Contra Costa, California, became homeless at the age of 43 after serving as a forest ranger, having climbed Mount McKinley twice, yet somehow his life derailed to the point where he became homeless. I've been spending time with John, talking to him, interviewing him, and the more time I spend with him, the more he shares with me, and I'm getting his story in pieces. And I will share the story as it evolves, but the first piece I'll share here today seems to center around a common theme, which is he comes from a family with a seriously dysfunctional family.
Our family has a history of some scandals that have happened, some before I was born, and those, I think, manifested themselves into relationships, interpersonal relationships that our family didn't get a chance to have. Before I was born, there was a sexual scandal between my brothers, my brother, my sister, and his stepsister. Things that happened where the stepsister had come into the house and kind of tainted the family with her problems. And so that started, and kind of compartmentalized our family a lot, I think. And what I mean by compartmentalized is that they were, I think, it was embarrassing. It was a shameful thing to happen, and I don't think they knew how to handle it. They had nowhere to take it. They had nowhere to talk to anyone or talk to anything about it. They had no God. They really weren't a religious family, so we didn't really have a lot of basis to go to anything like that and talk about
and
it.
This had a strong effect on your childhood, obviously.
Well, yeah, it did. I was born in 1965, and this happened before I was born, so this is almost a different era from today. But after I was born, a similar incident happened with my brother, with my next door neighbor, and that was scandal number 2, and that brought me into it.
How did that bring you into it specifically?
Well, it brought me into it in this way. Part of where I hold my guilt, I've talked to my neighbor friend. She's been really, really a great friend in helping me to understand what happened and what really went on, because she was there too and she understood. I had a lot of preconceived notions of what had happened and never got them fixed, or never got them understood or dealt with before all this stuff happened in my life. So talking to her was new information that I received after I was homeless and coming home. But what had happened was, it's hard to deal with this type of situation because the family is splintered. They're fractured. Shame with my family, that shame that builds up, it keeps the family from being able to communicate with one another. It keeps the family from being able to talk to each other. It keeps them from trusting each other. So they don't. And things fall apart. So what happens is sister goes and talks to mom about something, brother goes and talks to dad about something, or sister goes and talks to dad about something. Everyone talks to one person. It's never a group decision. And I grew up in that same situation. So I grew up and I had to deal with my dad or deal with my mom on topics. And once the decision was made, it was okay for me to do it or not do it. It was like at the time, it was really hard for me. So I'm looking for a place to go. And I didn't want to come back to the Bay Area. And one day, for some stupid reason, I'm sitting here and I'm going through one of the local ad papers, and I get on the back to it was Craigslist. I was looking on the back of Craigslist, and I found a couple of people that were looking for a person to come down and live with them and take care of their parents and take care of them. And they were elderly. Everyone was elderly. They were in various stages of elderness, getting messed up in one way or another. And I should caveat that real quick by saying that this was a gay couple, and I have a mixture in me of not knowing what the heck I am, orientation-wise. I've mixed around with all kinds of things. I've had all kinds of issues. I think many of my sexual issues are derived from low self-esteem issues, derived from trying to. I really don't know. One of the things on my checklist for getting help for is to understand that part of me as well, very much, because
Right. So coming to terms with your own sexuality was a struggle for you.
yeah. So definitely that was a problem I was having myself, but not that I wanted it for positive use. I was using problems in my sexuality on a negative side to put myself down, and so in a lot of ways, I was a promiscuous person who realized he was not supposed to do that stuff. So I would carry the guilt and anguish and all this stuff with me, even though I would continue to do it.
I see.
I think a lot of people can identify with this if they really look inside their heart. Yeah. It's something that really is a horrible feeling. And I'm newly introduced to Christianity and stuff like this. So I'm taking all this on little bites by little bites, and I'm realizing, wow, I got a serious thorn. I have a serious problem here with my sexuality. I need to get this tuned down and figured out. So what did I do? Well, I took this job and I moved to Palm Springs, which I didn't know. Palm Springs has got some fantastic people living in it, and a lot of them are gay. And I don't mean to put that down. It's not as a put down or anything, but I moved down there not knowing anything about any of that. I didn't know anything about what's going on in Palm Springs.
When you moved to Palm Springs, did you already have questions about your sexuality? Did you?
Oh, yeah. No, I actually, is one of the parts I don't know if I want in the whole story, but no, I came down there. Part of that ad was they were soliciting for someone that would live with them and take care of them as well in that manner. This is the part I got to own. I got to own this. So here's the deal. So yeah, I went down there to work for them and take care of them.
But you knew when you took this that they were going to be needing you to care for them, but there was also some. Did you know exactly what they were looking for when they? Yeah. How did you know? Was it in the ad or?
Yeah, they were basically a leather fetish, gay leather fetish couple.
And where did someone advertise something like that?
Well, they kind of worded it loosely they kind of made the wording in the ad apparent that was part of what they were looking for. The way they posted it up.
But that was in a newspaper, or where did you find it?
It was in Craigslist.
In Craigslist, okay.
Prior to Craigslist getting in that lawsuit that prevented them from putting these types of ads out on their paper now, I guess. Kind of shocked me when I was homeless. I think when I realized I'd seen that ad that said that Craigslist had been found guilty of solicitation type, promoting solicitation, and that they had been banned from doing that. And that's when it kind of hit me. I was homeless.
Why is John homeless? I hope to get a better understanding. The more I talk to him, the more comfortable he gets, and the more he shares. And I think as we talk, he himself is working through really understanding why he is where he's at today, coming to terms with what he went through, and trying to figure out who he is as a person and really what his purpose is here on the earth. But I hope in our next interview to share with you more specifics to see exactly why he became homeless. His life was beginning to spiral out of control in Palm Springs. And what I still don't understand is what took him over the edge. How do you go from being troubled and lost to being so profoundly confused that you become homeless? I asked him, where's your mother, a sister, a brother, a cousin, somebody? How do you end up living on the streets? And in our next episode, I think he'll share that. At least that's the plan. See you at the next one.